Welcome once again. This is David. Thank you for being here in your time. Today we're going to talk about the altar of the Creator. Protection. The cause says, the atonement can only be accepted within you by releasing the inner light. Since the, in quotes, separation, defenses have been used almost entirely to defend against the atonement and thus maintain the separation illusion. Have you noticed that, by the way? Your ego is actively trying to stay alive and maintain this separation of illusion, because the minute that goes, it goes. Yeah. Now, generally, this is experienced by us as a need to protect the body. For example, all the me against them defenses that we all engage in our daily lives. Everything you can imagine, from jealousy to envy to anger to competition to, whatever. The temple. To correct this mistake, begin to perceive your body as a temple. So you start looking at your body as a temple instead of just meat. The next step, however, is to realize that A. Atonement cannot be realized in physical terms. That is impossible. So even though you're looking at your body as a temple, you must keep in mind that the atonement cannot be realized in physical terms. That is impossible. Remember, physicality itself. If you read I gave you a download of A Happy Pocket Full of Money, the beginning of this course, and I asked you to read the sections on quantum physics and on time. They are very easy to read. Don't worry, even if you hate physics, trust me, this will be a very easy read. So please make sure you read that book. You don't have to read the whole book. Just download it and read the section on quantum physics. This will tell you what physical reality is made of, what your body, the chair, everything is made of. It's not even according to our own physicists, the greatest physicists we've had, such as Albert Einstein and everything. Even though we are all looking at physics from within the illusion, even then you can tell, these physicists can prove to us that flesh, material, matter is not solid. It's just flashes of energy. Okay, so even when you think of your body as meat, as flesh, and then you think you can get the atonement through your flesh or in physical terms, you're already off the mark. So forget about it. It's never going to happen. It's impossible, because physicality is an illusion. Okay, and that has been proven by our quantum physicists. Okay, point 2b. A temple is not a structure at all. So we've already said that atonement cannot be realized in physical terms. Now we're saying that a temple is not a physical structure at all. It is not. Yeah, we go around, building temples, made of brick and mortar and stone, but that is just symbolic. A temple, the true temple, is not a physical structure at all. It's not. Its true holiness lies in the inner altar around which the structure is built. So even if your body is a temple, its true holiness is not because of the body. It is the inner altar around which that body is built. Okay? The emphasis on beautiful structures is a sign of the fear of the atonement and an unwillingness to reach the altar itself. So when you keep insisting that the altar has to be, the temple has to be so beautiful, it means you're just dodging the real temple, the altar inside. Okay? And you're displaying an unwillingness to reach it. You're afraid of the atonement. The real beauty of the temple cannot be seen with the physical eye. Spiritual sight, on the other hand, cannot see the structure at all because it is perfect vision. It can, however, see the altar with perfect clarity. In other words, your physical eye cannot see the temple or the altar. You cannot see the altar. Your physical eye cannot see the altar. Now, spiritual sight can see the altar, but on the other hand, it cannot see the temple, or rather the physical structure, because Spiritual sight is perfect vision, and remember, perfect vision does not recognize the illusions. You see? Now, let's talk about healing false beliefs. For perfect effectiveness, the atonement belongs at the center of the inner altar, where it undoes the separation and restores the wholeness of the mind. Before the separation, the mind was invulnerable to fear because fear did not exist. Both the separation and the fear are miscreations that must be undone for the restoration of the temple and for the opening of the altar to receive the atonement. This heals the separation by placing within you the one effective defense against all separation thoughts and making you perfectly invulnerable. So once you heal, the separation and the fear misconceptions, once you get rid of those, your inner altar is ready to receive the atonement in full, and this effectively places a defense against all further separation thoughts. Yeah? And then you become perfectly invulnerable. Everyone will make it through. Okay? The acceptance of the atonement by everyone is only a matter of time. This may appear to contradict free will because of the inevitability of the final decision, but this is not so. You can temporize and you are capable of enormous procrastination, but you cannot depart entirely from your Creator, who set the limits on your ability to miscreate. An imprisoned will engenders a situation which, in the extreme, becomes altogether intolerable. Yeah? Tolerance for pain may be high, but it is not without limit. In other words, you have left home, who you really are and where you really belong. Where you have gone is painful, but you cannot go forever. And eventually the pain of that separation will become so high that you're sick and tired of it and you choose to end it. So there is a limit on your ability to miscreate, and everyone will make it back. Eventually, everyone begins to recognize, however dimly, that there must be a better way. As this recognition becomes more firmly established, it becomes a turning point. This ultimately awakens spiritual vision. You start to see, simultaneously weakening the investment in physical sight. You stop to believe what your eyes tell you. The alternating investment in the two levels of perception is usually experienced as conflict, which can become very acute. You can be very strongly conflicted inside. There's a point at which you can think you're going crazy, literally. But the outcome is as certain as the Creator, so you don't have to worry about it, really. Now, how your spirit guides you. Spiritual vision literally cannot see error and merely looks for atonement. All solutions a physical eye seeks dissolve. Spiritual vision looks within and recognizes immediately that the altar has been defiled and needs to be repaired and protected. Perfectly aware of the right defenses, it passes over all others. In other words, it ignores all other defenses because it is perfectly aware of the right defense. Yeah? It looks past the error and to truth. Because of the strength of its vision, it brings the mind into its service. This reestablishes the power of the mind and makes it increasingly unable to tolerate delay, realizing that it only adds unnecessary pain. In other words, your mind, once your vision, spiritual vision starts to kick in, your mind quickly starts to realize that the longer you stay out there, the more pain, unnecessary pain you're going through. So your mind starts to be very intolerant to delay and error or illusion. Your mind starts to be in the service of spiritual vision. Yeah? As a result, the mind becomes increasingly sensitive to what it would once have regarded as very minor intrusions of discomfort. It is your birthright. The children of the Creator are entitled to the perfect comfort that comes with perfect trust. Until they achieve this, they waste themselves and their true creative powers on useless attempts to make themselves more comfortable by inappropriate means. Okay? But the real means are already provided and do not involve any effort at all on their part. The atonement is the only gift that is worthy of being offered at the altar of the Creator because of the value of the altar itself. It was created perfect and is entirely worthy of receiving perfection. Wow, what does this long paragraph literally mean? Let's try and put it in other words. Okay. You are entitled, first of all. This is your birthright. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to cry. You don't have to, It is your birthright. You're entitled to it. But until you receive this, you'll waste your time and your true power on useless attempts. Things that will never work. Yeah? But the true means is already yours. It's already been given to you. And you don't have to do any effort on your part for this atonement to work. The atonement is already given to you. It's entitled. You're entitled to it. And it doesn't ask you for any effort on your part. It will just work. Okay? A new perspective. The Creator and His creations are completely dependent on each other. He depends on them because He created them perfect. He gave them His peace so they could not be shaken and could not be deceived. Whenever you are afraid, you are deceived, and your mind cannot serve the Holy Spirit. This starves you by denying you your daily bread. The Creator is lonely without His sons, and they are lonely without Him. We must learn to look upon the world as a means of healing the separation. The atonement is the guarantee that we will ultimately succeed. Now, to be honest with you, I'm just going to let you interpret this paragraph by yourself because to me it comes across with layers and layers of meaning, and my sense, my intuition is that I should let you interpret this one by yourself. It's quite clear, but there's something is telling me that you should do this by yourself. The only thing I want to emphasize is the underlined sentence there. We must learn to look upon the world as a means of healing the separation. So, in other words, we need to use this world and use every opportunity, every chance, every interaction we have with it as a chance for us to heal the illusion of separation. We need to turn it over to our higher selves, our Christ consciousness, so to say, and turn it over, completely let go, forgive it, and present it to, let's say, I'm going to use the word Holy Spirit here, but I would like also to use the word Christ consciousness or higher selves, like that part which is beyond and above this separation illusion, that is us, you see, or rather our original selves, and ask that may this world be used to help us to heal the illusion of separation. May every interaction be for that purpose. May I recognize that every interaction I have in this world is for the purpose and shall be used for the purpose of bringing me back home and nothing else. If we can at least accept that we're in an illusion, but then give it up and ask that every interaction of the illusion be used to bring us back home, then that's a great, that's what this thing is asking us to do, basically. Okay. So thank you once again for your time. Again, the discussion forums are open, and I thank you very much. So next time we'll go into the next topic. Bye.